Everybody's doing. Hopefully you're all having a great Sunday. I hope you had a great week last week. Mine was a little rough. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have known that I was not feeling well. So I was sick most of the week, just kind of down and out. So didn't get much done in the shop, which is always a bummer. It's just kind of part of it when you're a one-man show and the CEO, the chief everything officer. So when you're doing everything, it makes it a little rough. So, but we got through it. No big deal. Feeling a lot better. I actually started feeling better Friday, like towards the end of the day, I started feeling a lot better. And then Saturday for sure. And then today I'm feeling quite a bit better. Still got some head pressure, but definitely leaps and bounds better than earlier in the week. So I figured I'd jump on here. Again, like I said the last couple of weeks, I want to start doing some more lives on here, and I'm going to try to stay consistent as much as possible because I want to build that community up like I have on Instagram. And, the way you do that is by doing stuff like this. So just chatting, seeing what everybody's up to, answering questions, talking about whatever, tools, shop stuff. I hope I've gotten a great feedback. I've got a lot of comments on the shop videos talking about, mistakes that I made, things I wish I would have changed earlier, sooner, whatever. I'm getting ready to do another one today. I'm going to record another video on talking about why I don't do estimates over the phone. I don't give prices over the phone. As far as like when people call in to get pricing, I will, of course, when they bring their vehicle in and after I inspect the vehicle, I will give them a price. But I gotta be clear on that because people are like, you don't ever give a price over the phone? Well, yes, of course. But if somebody calls me and is like, hey, I got a quote to do such and such job here, I'm calling to get a price from you. I don't do those price shopping, price whatever. So I want to do a video on that and kind of get that conversation going. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll give you a little sneak peek. I recorded it already, but I'm recording a video on my Harbor Freight tools. So I do have a decent amount of Harbor Freight tools, not a ton, but I do have some, and these are the ones that I currently use and have worked great for me, and I've liked, and I use every day just about, or anytime I need that particular tool, that's what I have for that is my Harbor Freight version. So I recorded the first one, and because I don't do any like sort of professional editing, some guy argued with me the other day and said because I upload shorts and whatever that I'm editing, which perhaps maybe he's right, I don't know. But I don't go in, I don't have any editing software. I literally just record the video and upload. Long story short, I recorded it and I put some wrong prices in there. I had mentioned prices of things. I'm not sure what was going on, but I wasn't feeling good when I recorded it, so that's probably why. And I said the price wrong on one of the tools, and I just didn't want to have to mess with all that and listen to all the people whine and cry in the comments that I messed the price up. So I'm just going to re-record the whole thing. No big deal. Whatever. It is what it is. One of these days I'll edit myself, or I will have someone edit for me, and they can fix that easily. So yeah, it's just a lot to take on in addition to the shop and doing the videos, add editing to that as well. And I don't know what I'm doing, so it'd have to be a whole new thing I'd learn. And I got a wife and kids, so it's just not something I've really had any interest in doing. But yeah, whatever. So what are you all getting into today? Anything exciting? It's Sunday. Anybody doing anything fun? You guys working on anything? Are you off work? I hope you're off work. I hope most of y'all don't work weekends. Thankfully, I closed the shop on Saturdays and Sundays, and I have been thinking very hard about going to 410s. So working Monday through Thursday, do 410s, and off Friday, Saturday, Sunday. One, it would help me and my peace of mind, but two, I know it would attract technicians from other shops as well, so they could have that 3-day work week and only work 4 days a week. I thought about doing a 6 to 3 schedule as well, and still work 5, but getting off early. I feel like the 410s is probably a better option, but I could be wrong. If you're a mechanic and you work at a shop and you had the option of working an earlier schedule and getting off early, or working less days but more hours, so obviously 410s versus 5/8s, what would you prefer? Would you prefer working an earlier schedule and just getting off early and still working 5 days a week but working less hours in the day? Or would you prefer working less days but more hours, so having that extra day off every week? I mean, me personally, I would prefer the Friday because then you'd have 3 days every week to recharge and refresh yourself. But again, that's just me. I know not everybody thinks the same way that I do, and I don't think the same way that everybody else does. So I'm just curious of what your all's thoughts are and what you would prefer if it was you and you had that choice. I do machining, but when COVID hit, we went to 410, so guys don't gotta drive 5 days, and they liked it. Even the folks about to retire likes it. Hey, that's good to know. Like that again. That's why I would like to know your guys' opinions. I'm surprised that curious, did they keep that or did they go back to 5 days? I definitely think if you do work the 410s and you are efficient enough, you can get all of the work you need done in that time. And I feel like maybe perhaps people are willing to put in a little bit of extra time if they're going to get that day off. So if it's Thursday and they are going to have Friday off and they need to stay a little bit later, they might be willing to. I don't know. Again, I'm not sure. When I was at the dealership and I was flat rate, I worked late all the time. I didn't really care because I just wanted to turn hours. But not everybody was like me. Some guys came in late every day, took an hour to 2 hour lunch, and tried to leave early. So I was in early, rarely took lunch and stayed late. So there, obviously, again, not everybody's the same way. So it just depends on what drives you. It wasn't the money that drove me. It was the ego that drove me because I wanted to have the most hours in the shop, which was stupid now looking back. But it did make me good money, and I was able to set myself up for success in other areas in my life. So it did help. But the motivating factor was, did my comment come through? I did. That your comment is just that one, Zach. So lights off less, more profitable. They opened a weekend shift for Friday, Sunday, and yeah, a lot of guys. Hey, they're like, see, and that's sometimes like we're forced to make changes, and it ends up being something that we maybe wanted to, but we were kind of scared because it's tough, right? Like when you start a business, you don't want to make a wrong decision. And granted, something like that, if it doesn't seem to work out, you can switch it back. But again, it could lose you a lot of money. You could go to 4-day weeks and it could lose you some money. You could lose some people, all sorts of stuff. So people don't typically like change. So it's hard to make this. So that's cool. I'm glad that it worked out for them. They got a weekend shift, so they're still open. And they've got what? I'm assuming people working just 3 days and then other guys working 4 days. I would assume. So, but hey, Zach, your other comment did not come through. So I apologize for that, just so you know. I just saw your second comment. So I don't see any other. I will double check. Yeah. Nope, that's the only one I saw. Yeah, and like I said, I feel like now, granted, as the shop owner, I'll be honest with you, even having Fridays off, likely I would still go into the shop. But because I'm closed, obviously I can take care of like all the behind the scene things that people don't see. And because there's nobody there, you can get it done. You can get it done quicker and you're in and out. And I'd probably spend an hour or two in the shop on a Friday, but still not have an entire day. We did lose a few guys because of the 4-day work week with the weekend shift cut off. Yeah, I mean, that's going to happen. You're going to have that. But at the end of the day, efficiency for the shop could change. And again, people don't always like change. Yeah, I mean, I don't know at a machine shop, I would assume you'd get paid hourly. I'm assuming that's how you guys get paid, hourly or salary. So I wouldn't assume it'd make a change to their pay. So I'm not sure why people wouldn't want to switch that. Maybe they didn't want to work the longer days. So, oh, what's up, man? Welcome to YouTube. Thanks for stopping by both. Excuse me, sorry, I still have a nasty like chest cough from when I was sick this week. Kind of weird because when I was younger, I never ever got that. Like I'd go to school with people, and you always had that like, oh, cough, like that deep chest cough. And I've never had that in my entire life. The last 2 times I got sick, I had like a lot of head pressure and like drainage, and then it worked its way into my chest. It was horrible. So I'm in Ohio. Yeah, so hourly. So I wouldn't imagine why. Was it because they were working longer days? Or was it because some of them were maybe going to get moved to weekend shift? I'm just curious as to, do you by chance happen to know why some of the guys quit? I'm just curious. I'm always interested in things like that. You don't have to answer if you don't want. I'm just genuinely curious. I'm going to get a chair, you guys. I like to open the garage door because quite honestly, it's very nice and sunny outside today, but I have some people, some customers picking up, and then I just had that guy drop off, which you guys didn't see on YouTube, but when I was doing my Instagram live, a guy dropped off and was like knocking on the door. I'm like, there's a 24/7 drop box out there, but it's all good. They don't, they don't know. So I went and grabbed the keys from him. But yeah, so if I open the door, then people want to come and chat and talk. And so I try to keep the doors closed. So I'd like to have it open because it actually warmed the shop up because it's pretty cold in here right now. It's like just over 50 degrees, but it's all good. I work 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, and 1 Saturday a month. Yeah, so, oh, nice. And basically they wanted to work. When I worked at my last dealership, that's how it was. I was supposed to work 1 Saturday a month, or it was every third Saturday. So some months I'd work 2 Saturdays, which was absolute garbage. And one of the things I hated is there was guys scheduled for Saturdays, but they never showed up and nobody ever said a word. And then if I didn't show up, they'd be calling me and texting me. And I'm like, what? I don't understand. You guys got these guys on the schedule. They never show up. You don't ever bother them. So frustrating, but that's the whole dealership politics and crap. It just drove me nuts. So basically they wanted to work longer days, but with day shift and night shift working together. Day shift works 5 to 3, night shift works 3 to 3. Oh geez, both 4-day work weeks, but I see. Once 4/12s, they have to come in at 3, so I gotcha. That makes more sense. Yeah, when you're adding like other shifts like that, I can see where that kind of comes into play. I would never work a night shift. I physically could not do it. I know people say you could. I am not that type of schedule person. Like nighttime is not good for me. I'm a very early morning person. I truly believe that some people are night owls and it just works for them, and some people are morning people. I wake up at 6 a.m. every day, and when I'm up, I need a little bit of time to myself, but after that, I'm like, I'm not like one of those like crazy off the wall people, but I'm genuinely happy in the mornings, the majority of the time, and I'm ready to take the day on. So nights just don't work for me. I'm not a happy person at nighttime if it's late. Monday through Friday here, I come in on Saturday, 9 to 12 for paperwork. I'm the shop owner with 2 techs Monday through Friday. So Jeff, I was talking earlier, and I don't know if you were here, so I'm not going to do it now by myself, which I could, honestly. And it might, I don't know. I'm just something I'm just thinking out loud about, Jeff. And sorry, I'll call anybody by their name if you have your name on here. So if you want to tell me your name, I'm assuming you don't want me to call you Crackajack unless your name's Jack. And Nissan Tech, now that I know your name's Zach, I will try to remember that. Just always let me know it's Zach. Just say, hey, it's Zach. Jeff, I was talking about switching from 5-day work weeks to 4/10s and having Fridays off. And I was asking these guys, if they're techs or whatever, if they would prefer to work, because I could do 6 to 3, have a schedule, because I do 99% of my appointments are by appointment only. All of my repairs are by appointment only. It's rare that I ever have waiters. So I can pick whatever schedule I want, which is great. There's some customers I've literally worked on their cars for a couple years now, and I've still never met them. They drop off after hours, pick up after hours. It's really cool that people trust me that much. So I can pretty much do whatever I want as far as schedule. Now, granted, I do have some people that like to come in and like to talk in person and stuff, so that would change things a slight bit, but it's not going to be a huge thing. But anyways, I was asking them if they would prefer to work like a 6 to 3 Monday through Friday and just have every day off early, but you have to come in earlier, or go to a 4-day work week and have Fridays off. And that's why I was curious. What is your thoughts on that, Jeff? Have you ever thought about that? Would you consider it? Do you feel like you'd lose revenue? I feel like you could get it done. You'd have to definitely change some things as far as efficiency and such, but I think you could make it work. $4 an hour premium helped me get used to night shift, but yeah, I prefer morning. I like getting up early and getting stuff done. Gosh, $4 an hour ain't much to me as far as working nights. But again, perspective, right? Like I said, that nighttime's not good for me. So it did take a lot more, $4 an hour for me, but I honestly don't think I could do it. I was offered a 3 to midnight shift, which isn't really even a night shift. I mean, I know it's a later shift, but it's not really third shift. 3 to midnight, and I turned it down. I was like, no, there's no way. And to be fair, it was right before my first kid, my daughter was born. And so I knew, that was going to come with some challenges in itself and schedule wise and everything. And I was like, I didn't want to work in the middle of the night when the baby's going to be trying to go to sleep. And I wanted to be there to help my wife. So that was another thing that did kind of play into it, but I just didn't really want to work nights at all. So I turned it down. My dealer group is building brand new stores and I cannot wait. Our current shop is so tight and no room for equipment, but they want us to produce more. Yeah, that's tough, man. That's tough, Zach, because when you're limited on space, it makes things really hard, and then they're constantly pushing for improvement and growth and efficiency and all that jazz. And dealership worlds are like that a lot, and man, they're all about the numbers, aren't they? So that makes it tough. I was asked by a friend of mine if I were to ever go back to work for someone else, which I feel like I would make a horrible employee now. They say shop owners or business owners going back do make good employees because they have that business owner perspective, but I don't know. I feel like I'd make a bad employee because I'm constantly wanting to improve and change things. And I feel like that would come across as like arrogant and like I could do it better, which it wouldn't be that way. But obviously if the business failed and I didn't, then obviously I couldn't do it better, but whatever. Anyways, all that to be said, he asked me if I would go back to work for a dealership or an independent, and I told him, I'm like, I just don't think I could go back and work for a dealership and deal with all of the politics, deal with the warranty work, and constantly try to keep up with flag time anymore. I know I could still, because I still do good here by myself, and I could still turn the hours. I just don't know if I'd want to deal with all that again. I'm not as young as I used to be, so that's probably the issue. There's no going backwards. You'd always be sore that you may have missed an opportunity. Yeah, I guess I don't know what you're referring to that on. So New Level Auto. Please clarify. I'm sorry. I kind of got onto a little rant there, so I'm not sure which part you were talking about. But yeah. So anyway, so that's what I told him is. It would probably have to be independent for me. I'd want hybrid pay for sure because I still am incentive driven. Even as a shop owner, obviously you're incentive driven because it's your shop. And, if it doesn't do well and you don't bring in the money, then you can't pay yourself or pay the bills and grow the business. So I am still incentive driven for sure. So I want some sort of incentive, but I also don't want everything to be solely based on everything that I touch, basically commission based as a flat rate. So I don't know, an independent would be hard, really hard to be super efficient at flat rate. It really would. There's guys that can do it, absolutely. And I feel like I could hold my own in most cases, as long as I'm not working on euros. It would take me a while. I'd really get my butt kicked on euros because I've not worked on euros almost my entire career. So it would be all new to me. And I totally get it. Everything's nuts and bolts. I understand that. But when you're unfamiliar, as you guys know, and ladies, if there's any ladies in here, when that happens, you're working on something new. That's just what happens. You're just a lot slower. And until you do it multiple times, you stay slow. And I feel like in the independent world, unless you have like a steady flow of the same vehicles all the time, you're doing one. And then like 6 months later, you're doing another one. So you're doing 2 a year, which makes it hard. Going to back and work for some. Oh, okay. I kind of thought that's what you meant, but I just wanted to clarify. Once you work for yourself, you can always do as well as the work you put in. In any other case, you'd be at the terms of someone else's rules. True. You're not wrong. Again, or not again, but what I would say is that some people don't make good business owners, and I think that's part of it. They're just like, they think they're going to do really good, and they don't. And there is a lot of sacrifice to opening your own shop that a lot of people don't realize. So I do feel like that's part of why shops go out of business, and why they don't succeed, and also not charging properly. And then, they think they can just work on the car and never focus on the client. But people want an experience. It's just all there is to it. So yes, they want an honest mechanic. Absolutely. That's a big part of my business, is my honesty and transparency. But again, they still want an experience. And so like, if you're not good with people and you're not good at presenting things and going over inspections and estimates and presenting the work and trying to sell it. And it's stupid because we're not trying to sell anything. They need the work no matter what, unless someone's obviously trying to sell them work they don't need. But for some apparent reason, this business, we call it sell. That's not what it is. You're just presenting. But if you're not good at presenting that, then you're just not good at it. So, all right, we have a monthly incentive, which in my mind blows for the money. 4 to 5 week contest depending on the month. Average 50 a week for $100 or 55 a week for $150. I feel, okay, oh, sorry, Jeff. Okay, I feel like customers expect Monday and Friday, and kids in school, it seems to work best. The smaller shops, I think, can pull it off. I like to schedule most oil changes on Friday, so we have an easy day. Okay, I like that, Jeff. That's a smart, I feel like my oil changes turn out to be not easy because I do the 300% rule, so I inspect every vehicle every time. Now, granted, obviously, if it's a customer that I recently worked on and they bought everything, then yeah, it's just an oil change. We'll still do the 300% rule and inspect the vehicle, but 9 times out of 10, probably 9.8 times out of 10, they don't need anything. That might not work well for me very much. So here's my thing, Jeff, is I'm doing loaner vehicles, so that's another benefit to being able to do the 4-day work weeks is I'm gonna have loaners as well. Right now I'm just starting off with 2 because it's just me, but as I hire techs, I'll have 2 loaners per tech. And so that will kind of give me that benefit as well. So that's another thing. But again, not every shop does it the same way. I'm thinking outside the box. Whether or not I'll actually go to a 4-day work week, I don't know. I just feel like it will give me the upper edge as far as hiring mechanics. So, all right, certainly not for, and they take us to Ruth Chris for lunch if we make it. Some shops cut a bonus check. The taxes on bonus are higher, make it less desirable. Pay me more on all mistakes. Sorry. That's good. I like that. Yeah, so, yeah, Zach, I'm curious. Okay, so we have a monthly incentive. So the monthly incentive, is it you turn 50 hours a week? If you turn 50 hours a week the entire month, so you're turning 200 hours, right? You get an extra $100. And if you average 55 hours for the week, you get an extra $150 for that month. Is that, I just want to make sure I understand that, right? This is the kind of stuff I like, guys. It's the kind of conversations I like having. I'm just curious to know this kind of stuff because everybody does it different. We were having a conversation today in our shop owners group on Facebook, and it was very interesting. One of the shop owners was sharing a perspective of his advisor, and she used to work in the medical field and in the veterinary school, and she's had an issue with being clear and concise. I want to say this right, being clear and concise with the client, letting them know that they have to pay a diagnosis or diagnostic charge. You have to pay for a diagnosis, or if you want a pre-purchase inspection or whatever. And so and this is something they've run into a few times. So he said, hey, such and such, I don't understand why we keep coming across this. And she said, well, to be honest, in my previous profession, my fields, no one ever expected to get anything for free. They always expected if they were getting a service, they had to pay. So people expecting a service and not having to pay is new for me. And I'm like, holy crap, like it's so true. People in our industry so much of the time think they should get diagnostic testing for free. They think they should get an inspection for free. They think they should get all sorts of stuff for free. And it's unfortunate. We've done a lot of it to ourselves, but I don't blame 100% on us as an industry, but it's a big part of it for sure. So my response to that was multiple reasons. One, cars are last on a lot of people's lists. So that's the obvious. In most cases, if you're a mechanic or a shop owner, you have experienced this time and time and time again. People come in, they sob story, cry, they don't have money, and then next week they're going on vacation. Cars are last on their list. Why? I have no idea. So that comes hand in hand to me with, and no one walks in and expects special consideration. You're right, they don't. And in our industry that they do. So anyways, the fact that it's last on our list goes straight hand in hand with the fact that, what was I going to say? Crap, I lost my train of thought. I should have just stayed right on it. I was saying, dang it, you guys, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's so true. Anyways, crap, I lost my train of thought. Let me just go back in here. I was on a little good opinion track there. Vibrate thoughts, cycles often. Yeah, so anyways, all of that I had multiple things. One, it is last on our list. So yes, it is last on their list. So they don't budget for it. So their financial planning, the statistics on people, the majority of Americans, I think it's like 50% or just over 50% of Americans don't have $400 in case of an emergency. So that plays into that. But also it's not gone. Oh, that's what I was going to say. So the fact that cars are last on our list plays hand in hand in the fact that we've done we've done a bad job with explaining to customers the importance of vehicle repair. We've not taken the time to explain maintenance and the importance of maintenance. What's amazing to me is you can go on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube video, talk to any mechanic that you know, and across the board, I've never, ever once heard a mechanic say that's in the industry, that's been in the industry for any sort of period of time, that's a professional, that says maintenance is bad. What do we all say? Maintenance is great for your vehicle. It's what keeps your vehicle running longer, better, with less breakdowns and whatever. We all say the same thing, but in return, we don't take that time to actually explain it to the customer and give them the level of importance. Unfortunately, we just give them the total, kind of go through the estimate. Here's what you need. Here you go. You're done. Yes or no. There's a lot of that goes on, especially in the dealership world, and my experience in the dealership world. Maybe not every dealership, but it's so far in my experience in the dealership world and several people that I know that work for other dealerships, they all run the same, the ones that I know about and they know about. I want to be clear on that. So that's part of it as well. Yes, documentation. So someone actually made a very good point in this same conversation. They said, when you go get a medical test, it's being done on them. So they get to physically see what they're doing and what they're paying for versus they bring their vehicle in. They don't get to see it. So I thought that's a very good perspective. That's why I like having these conversations. We need these conversations to kind of explain it better. So video document, take pictures. That's a great idea. And I document as much as I can, but them talking about documenting on the vehicle or documenting like what we've done and what we're doing, but actually taking pictures, that's would be a great idea as well. Let's see. With Friday oil change, you still inspect the schedule of work for the next week. I could have a B-Techs work Monday through Thursday and run a smaller season. Yeah, it's a good idea. I like that. I like that. Run your C and D-Techs, like basically just your oil change guys, and just make sure they're doing good inspections. It's not a bad idea either. Give them the scone pattern. So I do all of that stuff. What would be really cool is to actually give them a video of what you're physically doing. That's something that when they said that, I was like, man, that'd be a really good idea because they can physically see you doing the test. Now, granted, I'm very big on charging for diagnostic testing. Do I charge 90 or 100% of the time? No, I charge 98% of the time. There are some customers that, I've been working on their car forever and it's just straightforward, whatever. And, I don't know. I just was like, hey, I went ahead and did that for free, but I always do say this. I say, hey, this is not the normal. I'm going to go ahead and take care of the diagnostic fee on my end this one time, just because I know you've been in here a lot lately and you spent a ton of money. I just want to help out, but it's not the normal. It's not something I normally do. And I just make sure I'm clear on that. And they're always super cool about that. And they're very appreciative of it and they're understanding. So they know that I normally do charge. But in that one case, like I said, if they were just in like 6 months ago and spent like $6,000, I may help them out. I may not. It just depends on the situation. So I don't get a copy of my EKG at the doctor's office, but I'm certainly always aware of what. Right. Yeah, and that's true. Like, because you got the test done, So yeah, that makes total sense. Show me the waveform and I'm happy to pay and you get educated. Yeah. And somebody said something about depends on the advisor and how educated they are. So Zach, you're right. I agree with you. But again, the advisor, depending on how educated they are and what they do, it depends on the shop owner, because it's the shop owner that has not done a good enough job at training their advisor. So I will put that owner or that blame on the shop owner. The shop owner's job is to create good work culture, keep the flow of work coming in. So obviously they need to keep flow of work coming in to keep their people busy, keep money coming in, to make sure all of their employees are trained up, make sure the shop has equipment, blah, 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 all of that stuff. So training and all of that stuff, that makes a big difference. Yep, they'll pay doctors without thinking about it, but don't want to pay their automotive repair bill without understanding how much shop owners and mechanics have invested. It's true as well. Again, part of that is our fault. We've not done a good enough job explaining that to them. It is now on us. We don't really have much of a choice. We have to take that time to explain it. Now, the difference, I will say, so this was another part of my response in that topic on the Facebook group, was for doctors and hospitals and stuff, people pay insurance, a monthly insurance bill, which pays the majority of it. And people already have this general concept that healthcare is expensive. It's just what everybody already thinks. Yes, taking the time, 100%, and most people do not. I shouldn't say most, a lot. I should not say most. That's a terrible mischaracterization. A lot of people do that. A bad habit of saying most. So a lot of shops do not do that for sure. It just doesn't happen. So that's another thing I said, is I take more time explaining things to people than I do presenting inspections and estimates to them most of the time. I'll take the time to explain like how an automotive shop runs, some of our costs and overhead. I'll show them my scan tools and tell them the cost and the amount of subscriptions I pay per year to keep them updated so that way I can scan their stuff. What I have to pay for access, what my shop management system. I don't really care. I'm very transparent with people. Maybe I give too much information. I don't know, but it seems to work well. So I'm just going to keep doing it. If it's not broke, don't fix it. I have no problem with making improvements, but if it works, it works. I'm doing better, and hopefully soon we'll be back at it again. Well, hey, man, I hope you're doing well as well. And I don't know the story, but I hope that you get back at it quick as well. This live is more active than the one earlier. Yeah, so it's funny because sometimes I'll get on Instagram and it's like people asking questions, firing left and right. And then this is only my third YouTube live, I think. I've not done many. And this is definitely the most active of the three. It just depends on who's on. If people are talking back and forth, people got lives, they're busy. And I get that. So I don't expect people to always be able to be on and talk. And sometimes I just don't feel like talking. Sometimes I don't feel like doing it live. So it's super cool. I love this. Again, this is why I'm doing these, is to build this community and have these types of talks. Because again, if you're not having these conversations, I talked about this in my shop owner series on YouTube that I'm doing. I talked about this, is the fact that, we need these conversations, but we got to be open-minded too. Like I can't just go in there, share my opinion and not be open to some other people's opinions as well. Now, some of them, when they share them, I'll just shoot them down right away because they're honestly just dumb. But if they actually put thought into it and actually give a good response to something, then I'm totally open-minded. I'm definitely able to admit when I'm wrong. I may not admit it right away, but I will admit it. So I've been busy the past couple weekends, but today I'm being lazy. Hey, nothing wrong with that. You need time to rest. I literally rested basically Thursday and Friday a bunch. I rested most of the week actually, but I did work out here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I was not feeling well at all. I did rest, but not a bunch. You have to trust your mechanic. If you trust him, pay him and be happy. If you don't trust him, find another one. I totally understand. I preach that all the time. I get what you're saying. Again, some of that falls on us. We have got to do a better job of explaining things and giving people a more transparent view. So when somebody calls and says, hey, I have my own radiator, can I install it? I don't just tell them, oh, you're fine, man. Don't worry about it. I got the gist of it. I knew what you meant. So if somebody calls me and says, hey, I have a radiator I need installed, my friend diagnosed it, I don't just tell them, no, I don't install customer parts and say, hang up the phone or whatever. I explain to them. I say, well, unfortunately, I don't install customer supplied parts, and that reason is threefold. One is because I make money on the parts, and I'll be completely honest and transparent with you. This is like legit a conversation that I tell people. I tell them, like, I make money on those parts. That's how I pay my bills. That's how I stay in business. That's how I'm here. And you're able to call me to ask me for my services. If I don't make that money, then I got to charge you extra on your labor. I can't give you a warranty. And that just isn't fair to you because you're not saving any money if I up my labor charge. Versus if I install the part and I make my money, my labor charge is less than what I would charge you if I wasn't selling the part. I'm able to offer you a 3-year, 36,000 mile nationwide warranty, and I assume the liability. If I install your part and that radiator blows up or whatever, leaks, you overheat your engine, and it fries your engine and you need a new engine, you can sue me, and now I'm held liable for your engine. And then I'm gonna have to pay for it if you take me to court. And so I give them that scenario. I give them the threefold scenario and just say, well, at the end of the day, when you're calling these other shops, the majority of them, if they're charging, I just throw numbers out there. I just say, if they're charging you $150 an hour, well, their labor rate goes up to $200 an hour because they're not making the money on the parts. So at the end of the day, you don't save much, if any, money at all. And that's not all shops, but that is a lot of shops in my area. If they don't sell the part, they're upping their labor rate because they're not making their margins on the parts. Rightfully so, they need to make their margins, but they just shouldn't install customer supplied parts in general. That's just my opinion. Trust me, I've seen people get burned by it time and time and time again. So I take that time and explain it to them and give them a transparent view. And that's actually worked well for me. Does everybody end up coming into the shop? No, not everybody, but I would say probably about 60% of them end up coming into the shop. So I still convert 60% of those people that wanted me to install their customer supply parts. And there's other stuff too. We make a living on selling parts and labor. If you supply your own part, there's no guarantee on the part. Labor, there is no guarantee. 100%. Yeah, just like I said, there's just, but again, you get a lot of that where people don't take the time. And I understand like shops are busy. Most shops are slam busy. If they're doing a good job, especially if they're cheap, they're definitely really busy. People think because they're booked 3 weeks out, that's a good thing. It's not a good thing. It means you're undercharging. You're not charging enough. You shouldn't be booked 3 weeks out. If you're booked 3 weeks out, you need to raise your labor rate probably $30 to $40 an hour tomorrow. But hey, just me, again, that's just my opinion. Take that as you will. But yeah, like we've just got to do a better job at taking the time and explaining these things. So I feel like if I did that, I wouldn't convert as many customers. Like, again, I wouldn't have customers like I have that I've literally never met in 2 years. Like I've worked on people's cars for 2 years and I've never met them. I've only talked to them on the phone and texted them back and forth. That is it. Never met them in person. So it's funny because I do this social media stuff. They follow me on social media and then I'll see them somewhere and they're like, oh, hey, it's such and such. I'm like, oh my gosh, we've never met before. And they know me because they've seen me on social media, but I've never seen them. I don't know what they look like. So it's quite interesting. But I think because of that transparency that I give and honesty, like, and I'm not talking about like the majority of shops, this I will use, the most and majority of shops are honest. Is because I'm like very blunt. Like I told a lady the other day, I was like, hey, listen, you're going to blow up your car. You're gonna buy an engine. I just flat out told her, I'm like, you've got to do a better job. And she was like, thank you for your honesty and transparency. That was her response. So I'm very, very blunt. I'm nice about it, but I'm also a little bit firm too. I'm like, hey, whatever. So I feel like that's helped me, but that doesn't work for everybody. It does not work for everyone. It works for me. Doesn't mean it works for everybody. So we've all got to figure out our own way to help present things. So, hey man, I appreciate y'all being so active. I really do. This is super cool. I love conversations like this. These get me pumped. So I really like this kind of stuff. Oh, like I said this in the other Instagram live, I don't want to forget. I want to make sure I say this every week until the time comes when I do lives. If you all are going to be at ASTE in Raleigh, North Carolina this year, it's September 28th through the 30th. It's an automotive training event. I'm not sponsored, not nothing. I'm paying. I just go, and it's an amazing time. If you've never been, you're missing out. You should definitely do it. Your shop should pay for it, but if they don't, I highly recommend you fund it yourself and go. It's worth it. It's literally life-changing training events. I've been the last 2 years, and this will be my 3rd year. I never knew it existed until 2 years ago, so didn't even know it. So I'm trying to spread the word because I wish I would have known sooner that it did exist because I would have went a lot sooner. If you're gonna be there, come say hi. I wanna meet some of y'all and chat. It'll be super cool. Heck yeah, dude, so you're gonna be there? That'll be sweet. So I've got quite a few people. I got to meet quite a few people last year. I had just kind of started my journey into social media last year. Oh, we did? Nice, cool, good deal. Were you guys the ones that I met at the kickoff party the first night at the restaurant? I met you and a friend. I don't know if that was you or not, but it's a great way to do it, firing customers. So that's something we don't talk about. I actually should do a YouTube video on that. Thank you for the idea, by the way. I have fired several customers, and I shouldn't say constantly, but often I'm trying to push out my bottom 5% as well. So Zach, so that's exactly why I'm talking about it, because I had never heard of it either. I was following Cody Gaddy on YouTube, who's a mobile diag tech. He hasn't uploaded in a really long time. I got to talk to him at Vision last year, Vision KC, which is another training event. He's just really busy. So Cody Gaddy has a YouTube channel, and then this was all before I had I didn't have a YouTube channel. I didn't do any of this stuff. This is all new to me. All this YouTube and I think it was alongside Tanner Brand. So I think I remember Tanner. I've heard the name. I just don't remember exactly who he is. Well, reintroduce yourself, my friend, and throw up your name, please, so I can try to remember it. I'm trying to get really better. I am good with names. I'm telling myself I'm good with names. So anyways, Zach, it's a training event. They have technical training. So they do like basically anything from scope training to diagnostic processes to EV training, all sorts of technical training. So if you're a tech, they have great technical training. If you're a service advisor, they have great service advisor, sales training. If you're an owner, they have marketing training, owner training, customer service training. Literally, they have all sorts of training you can imagine. ADOS training for techs. I'm trying to think of all the technical training that they have. So the first year I went, I took a decent amount of technical training because I need help in diagnostic testing. I'm not terrible, but I'm not great. I'm kind of like in between. So normally if I'm struggling, I have to message one of the smart guys that I know and have them help me. So I was trying to kind of improve that, which was a mistake. It wasn't a mistake, don't get me wrong. I got a ton out of the classes. They're geniuses. But I should have been taking shop owner training. But when I was in the beginning of my business, I was thinking like a mechanic and not a shop owner. And if you watch my recent YouTube videos, you'll understand what I mean by that. So the last two trainings that I went to were all shop owner classes, and they are literally life-changing. They'll change the way you run your business, and it's for the better. It's great. So anyways, a lot of the stuff I talk about is where I learned a lot of that stuff. So ASTE training, if you go to, it was working. I'm not sure if it's working now. I will say they're a little delayed on like actually like opening registration and stuff, which kind of sucks. So I hope they get it opened a little earlier this year. But if you go to asteshow.com or just type in ASTE Automotive Training in Google, it'll pop up. They have announced the dates, which is September 28th through the 30th. It's not that expensive. If you're footing the bill yourself, it can get expensive. Oh, Keith DeFazio. Okay, cool. I recognize your name now. So you're in the Google chat, right? The Google chat with the one and only Keith DeFazio. Yeah, he's in the Google chat with Brandon Dills and everybody else, all the YouTubers. I'm no YouTuber, so I use that term lightly. I'm pretty sure you're in there. I'm pretty sure we've talked a couple times in there. Anyways, so the training is awesome. If you're paying for it on your own dime, I don't want to say it's cheap because that's not fair. It's not cheap. Okay, awesome. Good to know. Thank you for creating that. I know it's not like super active, but it's super cool, and I do like chatting in there. I like to just get the perspectives of other people. But Zach, I should say it's not fair to say it's cheap, but for what you get out of it is cheap. But you know, everybody's in different situations, so I don't want to misrepresent, and I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but anyway, sometimes I have it in my head, but I can't actually say it out. I don't know what that is, but anyways. So, but if you can make it happen, or maybe you can get your work to pay for most of it. If they're not willing to pay for the whole thing, see if they'll pay for, the actual ticket to get in, and then you pay for the the gas or whatever and drive if you're close enough, or the airplane ticket and the hotel, or maybe they'll pay for the training in the hotel and you pay for the plane ticket or whatever. Just kind of work with them, see if they're willing to pay for it. Totally worth it. Worth it for them, and it's worth it for you for sure. So if you can make it work, again, I don't stretch yourself and, put yourself in a financial bind. Well, Keith, I'm excited to talk to you again. I'm sure I'll remember you when I'm pretty good with faces. I'm just not the greatest with names. So I will try to do a better job. I met a ton of people at ASTE last year. So I look forward to chatting with you again, seeing you there. That's exciting. I wish I was closer. So Hayward Automotive, who are you and where are you from? Just so that way I can get to know some people. So we got Jeff that I was chatting with. We got Zach that I was chatting with. We got Keith that I was chatting with. And then Patriotic Immigrant, what is your name as well? What are you using to write invoices? I use TechMetric. So in my opinion, this is my opinion only, I think there are only 2 shop management systems that you should use. Bob Hayward, Canton, Georgia. Well, it's nice to sort of meet you on the phone, Bob. I hope to see you at ASTE as well, from Georgia. That is a long trek, but hopefully you're there. It'd be cool to meet you as well. I appreciate you joining. Whitaker Auto Repair, Grand Island, Nebraska. Is that right? I'm terrible with stuff like that. I'm smarter than that, I swear. I swear I am. I really like it. It's funny. I've had some people in the TechMetric group. Oh, sorry. I never finished that, Patriotic Immigrant, which throw up your name, man. I want to know your name. Shopware and TechMetric. Those are the 2 tops for me, in my opinion. Again, my opinion. Jason, I own Trinity Garage in Virginia. Awesome. Cool. So Jason, Jeff, Keith, Zach, Bob. All right, cool. All right. I'm gonna remember those names, I'm telling you. So those are the 2 I use, or those are the 2 I would recommend. TechMetric's what I use. I like the new interface. Honestly, I don't feel like it changed a ton. And then some guy was complaining about it not working on mobile, which I only do my inspections on mobile. So I can't really say much. I've not had much issues on the mobile. Every now and again, I'll get it to where like my phone does a funny thing and it flips, and then I lose all of my tabs. Everything else is still there, my pictures and stuff, but the tabs, like if I selected green, yellow, or red, or not available, or not applicable, kind of miss out, and I just got to go back through. But I don't know. I've not had too much an issue, but I'm kind of like, I don't know. I came from All Data Managed, so I'm probably, All Data Managed was absolute garbage, and I mean garbage. And it was a 1-year contract, which is the dumbest thing ever. So to me, I don't really have much to compare it to aside from that. And for getting me to do some house chores while listening. Have a good week. Hey, thanks for stopping by, Zach. Where did he ever say where he was from? Hey, anytime, man. Thanks for joining. And I really hope that you can come to one of the trainings and I get to meet you. Seriously, that will be sweet. I enjoy stuff like this, and I enjoy meeting people and having conversations. That's, what do they say? Rising tides raise all ships, or something like that. So, but yeah, again, I came from All Data Managed, so it was garbage. And so TechMetrics is 1,000 times. Watching from Hawaii, heck yeah. I've been hiding in the background. Frank, nice to meet you, Frank. And I appreciate you stopping by. That's okay. Not everybody's as talkative as others. Nothing wrong with that. Hopefully you're getting some information and it's helping. Hawaii, man, that's sweet. I've never been. I really want to go. It kind of stinks. So I've had this like dream. I don't want to call it a dream, like it is a dream, a goal that I want to go to Hawaii with my wife, of course. This year was our 15-year wedding anniversary, or it will be next month. Was it March, April, May? So May is our 15-year wedding anniversary. Oh my gosh, sorry. So I like it for my 10-year anniversary, I wanted to do Hawaii, and there was something going on. I can't remember. We had something going on, and we just couldn't. It didn't work in our finances. And then before our 10-year, I wanted to do like, I had a certain year that I was like, you know what, let's go. Maybe it was our 5-year, I can't remember. And then our 15-year, we're running the business, and I'm just not in the position yet. I don't pay myself what I was used to making or what I used to make. Anyways, we're 3 years in, so we're still growing here. Um, and So anyways, my goal is to bring my wife to Hawaii sometime. So if I come out there, I will have to find out where you're at and come visit you. That would be really cool. Anytime I go somewhere now, sorry, this chair is bothering me because the bottom's so wide. Anytime that I go somewhere now, like on vacation, I'm like trying to find shops that I can go visit and stuff. So, so that way I can meet people and just kind of check out their shop, check out the layout. It's probably because I have this so high. I'm like looking up at you all. It's funny, like you just get in the zone of something and you don't really pay attention and you just kind of go with it. So yeah, take the time and do it. We're going to do it at some point. The finances got to be there. So I'm different. I should call it weird because we're weird compared to most people. We don't have any credit cards. We do everything in cash. And so that's how we've actually run the entire business as well. We've run the entire business with cash from the very beginning. Now I do have a business credit card, but I pay it off every week. So it does take us longer to do things. So when we go on vacation, we're almost always driving because obviously it's cheaper. And because we're building the business and because we don't pay ourselves as much because I put a lot of money back into the business as far as equipment. And I know a ton of one-person shop owners that are like still handwriting invoices and they keep their costs like ultra low because they think that's, and I don't want to say that's it. I don't want to say that's like, be careful how I say this because it's not like it's horrible. It's not like, they're a bad person for thinking this way. But if they were charging appropriately and doing things correctly and properly and not undervaluing themselves, that stuff wouldn't matter. They would be able to afford. And that's how I thought in the beginning of the business. I was terrified to switch from All Data Manage to TechMetric because I was paying on All Data Manage because I have All Data Repair. And if you do manage, you only pay like an extra $120 or something a month. It's cheap. So that and TechMetric's $400 a month. I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to afford that? Ever since I made the switch to TechMetric, it has paid for itself 10 times over every year. Every month it pays for itself over and over and over again. So, but we a lot of times make decisions based off of fear, which is not good. So that's why I say that. I took my wife and it's Bob Hayward, right? Bob. So how long ago, Bob, and how long did you guys go? Everybody tells me you got to go for 2 weeks if you're going to go to Hawaii. We recently took our first 2-week vacation. I don't want to call it a vacation. It was an adventure because we took our kids. We like to try to not think of vacations as vacations when we take our little ones with us, which my daughter is almost 6 and my son's 2. So we did do an adventure in Tennessee. That was my first time ever doing a 2-week. I'm pretty antsy. I love to work. So I'm a little weird in that as well. I do like taking time off and resting, don't get me wrong. But after about the 7th day, I was pretty antsy and ready to get back to doing something. So I think I just need to do like more things on vacation. And again, it was our first one. So we were kind of getting a feel for it. And we did go we went to Tennessee, but we went to Franklin by Nashville and stayed there. And then we went to Pigeon Forge and stayed there for 8 days. So we kind of split it up. So that did help some, but I'm a pretty antsy person. 10 years ago, I went for 2 weeks and yes, I was ready to get back. Yeah. I think that's just how some of us are wired. So yeah, I'm curious. Like I told my wife, I was like, I think our next vacation, I'm fine with doing like maybe 2 weeks, but maybe like shortening it just a hair. I think I would be okay with that because I was definitely like, I think a part of our problem is we've always done like extended weekends, which is just stupid. That's on us. We have nobody to blame but ourselves. Extended weekends, so we would go from like Thursday to a Monday and do like 4 days. That's not really a vacation. By the time you drive and drive back, you're really only getting 3 days because we always drive. So that's again part of our problem. So I told my wife, I'm like, I think if we did like a legit 7 days, that would be fine with me, and I would feel refreshed and good and whatever. So. And we'll fly more in the future. That's not always going to be a thing. I know that for sure too. So as the business grows and social media grows and all of that stuff, that will change some things as well. So our finances will be a little different. And obviously, I'm not going to be always putting as much money as I am back into the business as I am now. In the future, I won't have to put as much money back into it. So we'll be in a place where I always buying stuff. So, hey, I appreciate you stopping by, Jason. Thanks, as always. I appreciate it. I'm actually going to jump off here, too. I've got to get this... Never did 2 weeks after that. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking too, Bob. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to jump off. I got to record these couple videos. I keep saying that on the weekends, and then I end up not recording them because I do these lives. But this was cool. This was awesome. I enjoyed talking to y'all, Zach, Bob, Jason, Keith, and somebody else. Jeff. So, sorry, Jeff. Didn't want to forget you there. So it's great chatting with y'all. Y'all have a great week. Seriously, I appreciate it. Have a fantastic week. Get out there, crush it, make some money, enjoy yourselves, and we'll catch you on the next one. See y'all. See ya.